Hey guys, welcome back to the Unusual Suspects podcast. We're on episode 3 today. I'm your host Marco with our co-host
Chris.
and today we got a very special episode. Now if you thought the last episode was good, this one could potentially be better. Alright, today we're talking about self-confidence and
Borderline ego.
issues that come up with self-confidence, when is there too much, anything along those lines. It's an interesting topic, and it's something that, people don't really think about too often when self-confidence can be bad to where it becomes a ego. So,
But before we start that, Marco, you like to say something?
I don't have that huge of an ego.
No, not about that.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. So, we decided we have to plug our social media and stuff early. So, make sure you subscribe, please. Hit the notification bell. Every Monday at 5, please. Our Twitter, at The Unusual Suspects. Or it'll come up with Unusual Suspects.
Yeah.
But, pretty much.
We post whenever we're gonna.
Yeah. Whenever we're going,
upload the
whenever
podcast.
whenever the podcast goes live, we have the SoundCloud link on there too. The Unusual Suspects podcast. Make sure you're following all that. But yeah, so our first question today: does self-confidence ruin you? In quotations, does it ruin you? What do you think?
Self-confidence ruin you. Depends. Like, sometimes self-confidence could give you a little too much hopeful. Like, if you become a little too hopeful.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And it can ruin you. Since you're like, oh, okay, we're good. We're so pumped. And then you get blindsided.
Okay.
So, depends.
Okay. I think if you're too self-confident, I feel like you can be ruined as an individual. Most of the time, when you have too much self-confidence, it starts to build your ego and you start to become too big for your britches. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that you kind of start becoming a jerk. You kind of become you think you own everything. You think you own the world. You think you're hot shit.
Yeah.
And you don't really think about other people as often. It's kind of you're in it for yourself most of the time when you develop a certain amount of self-confidence. I'm not saying this is every person, but a lot of times that's really what goes on, I feel.
Because self-confidence could also be a good thing, though. It promotes decision making in a sense. And you do things like you usually do. So it's that's why I said depends, because it teeters on the line of too much. It could be bad for you and your reputation, compared to if you have too little, you don't do a lot of things. You're unconfident and you're not going to do a lot of things normally you would do.
Yeah, I feel like self-confidence is really important. It's important in everything almost. Let's say you're trying to get someone's number. If you come at them without any confidence, I'd say 95% of the time you're not going to get the number, and if you do, she felt bad for you and she gave you the wrong number. All right? I'm just going to keep it real with everybody.
Is this from experience?
No.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I pull up with confidence, I get a W. All right? So, not even that. Let's say you're just doing a presentation in class. You don't even need to actually be confident. You just need to seem confident.
Yeah.
Because
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, like everybody says. Even like I said before, if you're trying to get someone's phone number, you're just trying to someone that you barely know, you can just intro and be like, hey, I really like you, I think you're really cute, I was wondering if I could get to talk to you. If you come at them without self-confidence, they're gonna think, oh no, why would I give it to this person who can't even handle themselves? How are they gonna handle me? But not even just that, you don't even need to be confident in yourself. You honestly just need to fake it. And as bad as that sounds, you need to fake it till you make it. That's literally what you need to do most of the time when it comes to that. So with that, we're gonna move along to our next question.
Does self-confidence reveal the true you?
Well, all right. If I'm being honest here, all right, I feel like it's a yes and no.
I kind of say yes, because when you have a lot of self-confidence, you do things. Although, like you said, you usually don't, but it's something you would want to do. It's your urge in a sense, and when you have that confidence, you are able to do that. So I think it does reveal the true you, because these are actions you would want to do, and when you have that confidence, you are able to do those actions compared to you don't have confidence.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. All right, when I am on a high horse, when I am riding and I'm just going, I'm just feeling really good about myself. I'm being extremely confident, borderline just like completely egotistical, narcissistic. At least that's what people would tell me. However, most of the time I'm really not that bad. Like, I feel like I could do anything in the world. Like, it doesn't matter. And like, I feel like that's not even like that bad of it's a good feeling to have when you feel like you can do whatever you want, but you got to check yourself with that. Like, you can't just do that. So like,
so how do you check yourself?
How do you check yourself? That was our next question. I feel like the way you need to check yourself is you need to understand the type of person you are and who you want to be and who you want to become. You can't let this self-confidence and this ego that's starting to build up kind of take over and not allow you to become who you want to be. Because let's say, like, that self-confidence ends up, like, making you too cocky or too egotistical, and that's not who you want to be.
But
you want to be someone who's kind-hearted.
When do you know that? Because usually when you have that self-confidence, you don't know that. You're like, I don't care. So how do you check yourself? Like,
how do I check myself personally? Personally, what I do is I kind of look back at the situation that I was put in. Most of the time, I don't realize it till after. So, like, let's say I, like, do something, I'm like, dang, like, that was a little disrespectful. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. That probably wasn't the smart way. I should have thought about it a little more. Because when you have that self-confidence, like, too high, you don't really think too much. You kind of just do it.
You just go with the flow.
You just go with the flow. You kind of just do things, and then you don't realize it till afterwards that you're like, dang, you know what? I fucked up. Like, I really messed up with this one. Like, it's tough. I feel like you can't really check yourself. Me personally, I can't check myself until after it happened.
So, do you believe you could check yourself individually, or do you need someone else to help you?
I feel like you can check yourself individually if you're a certain type of person. There's a lot of people who can't check themselves personally. They need someone else to kind of give them a reality check. And it's not like that's an awful thing. Like, I mean, it probably sucks sometimes. I don't know. I do check myself every so often, like with everything. I'm like, hey, am I really doing everything I need to be doing? Am I really getting things done that I need to get done? Am I acting a certain way that I don't want to act? Like any little thing like that, you have to be able to check yourself at least a little bit, even if you're not good at it. At least try to, and kind of realize where your wrongs are and where you messed up and where you can improve and where you can get better. And I feel like that's part of confidence, is improvement of yourself and kind of becoming better, a better person that you want to be. So how do you check yourself, Chris?
I check myself. Usually I don't get a high ego. Or I don't get a lot of self-confidence. I'm not a very self-confident person. Mm-hmm. So I never reach those points. And when I do, though, I don't know. I think it just naturally just slows down for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I never like maintain a high self-confidence. Mm-hmm. Like, to the point where, like, you're an egomaniac.
Egomaniac?
Yeah. I never get to that point and stay that point. So I don't really need to check myself.
Okay. So Chris is the big man here and says that he doesn't get an ego. I can deny that. He does get an ego.
How do I get an
quite
ego?
Frequently. I don't want to expose right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to expose right now.
How do I get an ego? I don't get an ego. I don't.
I don't want to expose right now. So we're gonna move on to the next question here. So, where is the line drawn between asshole and being confident? Because this is a really important thing, right? Because, like I said, you're talking to somebody, you're trying to get their number or something, you need to be confident. But where is it to where you're just an ass and like you're just like the biggest jerk? Like, where is that line? Where do you personally think that line is, Chris?
Personally, where I see that line is when you say things that might offend people. Like, oh, you think it's perfectly fine saying it, but you might rub the wrong way. Mm-hmm. and that's when you cross the line and become an asshole.
Okay.
Compared to being just confident, because there's doing things you won't normally do, like there's difference between things that you want to do but you can't do with the amount of confidence, and there's things that you want to do, or I don't know how to explain it. You could come back. I'll come back on this one.
Okay, I feel like he was kind of going off. Like you start to do things you don't really you wouldn't normally do, and like you start to do things that you feel like it's kind of like when you become ignorant in a sense. Like you aren't.
That's a good way to
Yeah,
say
I
it.
feel like ignorance is the perfect way to put it. When you don't really care about what other people think, and you won't really listen out to anybody because you think you're hot shit, and you don't really care about whatever anyone else says or what anyone else thinks or whether they're like, oh, you aren't like, this isn't who you are or anything like that. Like, I feel like once you start to become ignorant, that's when your self-confidence is too high, because that's when you become a jerk. Once you're ignorant, it's like it's really difficult to call that self-confidence.
That's a really good point, saying ignorance, because that's what I was trying to think of. Not gonna lie. Yeah, when you have ignorance and you don't really care about anything, like how other people feel, like how other people feel, that's at the point where your confidence got a little too much, and it's affecting the other people around you in a negative way.
Yeah, it's hard because it honestly, like, I mean, I feel like the line where someone is an asshole and being confident is easy to like find because it's not by person. Like, pretty much I feel like almost all people have like a consensus on what be like, how you're a jerk or how you're acting like a jerk, like that type of thing. I think that everyone kind of has like a set point, like, oh, it's when you're ignorant, oh, it's when you're this. It kind of, I mean, it could vary from person to person, but like, it's kind of, I don't know. So like, because we're talking about where the line is drawn between asshole and confidence, where would you personally draw your line?
Draw my line is when my confidence, like, kind of, I guess, hurts other people in a sense, or like you said, ignorant, where you stop caring for other people. I think that's when I cross the line. Like, that's the line where like you become an asshole now, when you are negatively affecting people.
Okay.
With your self-confidence.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd say that I would personally draw my line when I become ignorant, and I'm not really ignorant. I'm always aware, I feel, which, I mean, that kind of makes me sound disrespectful if I'm aware of what I'm doing. But like, I draw the line when like I do something that I wouldn't normally do or would normally want to do, and I kind of just like keep on going with it despite what everyone else kind of thinks, because like I don't care, because that's, oh, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and like kind of being stubborn in that sense. And like, when, like you said, when I'm hurting others, that's when I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I haven't gotten to that point to where I'm just like hurting people, just like for fun, because that's really, like, I know what I'm like. That's when I'll like stop for sure. I'm like, okay, I need to chill out, like I need to relax here. And like, I don't know, there's a lot of different things. So one question is, how do you gain your self-confidence personally?
Gain self-confidence. Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's maybe when you, I don't know,
because I've talked to it about people, and like I've told them, like, because I'm a very confident person, and I think most people who meet me would say that, but I feel like it's not something you just get overnight for sure.
No.
It's something that you need to work on. Yeah, it's something that slowly works up. So me growing up, my parents and like my mom and like would tell me that she like always would emphasize, don't care what other people say, they don't matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself, and you can only let people affect you so much, because it doesn't really matter what they think. And that's a good to be growing up. That's a great mindset to have, because I've talked to so many people whose parents didn't really emphasize things like that, so they always let a lot of things affect them that because the way I grew up, I feel like shouldn't affect them. So like my confidence is really high because someone could tell me something disrespectful or could tell me something about myself that I know isn't true, and I'll just tell them like, hey, like, I really don't care, because like I know who I am. I'm confident in the person I am. The confident in the person I want to be. I'm confident on where I'm going, and like it's really important to have that. But I feel like growing up, that's how I personally got a lot of self confidence.
I kind of had the same that if you count that as self confidence, yeah, I had the same self confidence in the sense that no one like whatever someone says about me, it would never like impact me. So you can talk a lot of shit about me, it won't affect me. I wouldn't care. Like I wouldn't care to the point like it will hurt me emotionally. Like oh, okay, you're an ass, cool, but it wouldn't like affect me emotionally and how I view myself.
I don't know. Then,
like for self, I was thinking about it. Self confidence for me, was like speaking to like a lot of people. And when I was like middle school wise, I only kept with my one group of friends, being like Marco and a few other people. And then in high school, like I kind of had to like tippy toe around people, so eventually you had to like bump into people and actually talk to them. And so from high school, I built confidence from just talking to a whole bunch of individuals and eventually making groups with all of these individuals. And I think that's how I built my social self confidence with people. Is by talking to like any different type of person. It's not like one specific stereotype type of person. Like, oh, I'm gonna only talk to the nerd or something like that. No, I always talk to like every single type of group of people. That's how I build my confidence because I kind of know how they act, and so I know how other people could act from there. And so that's how I build my self confidence, by just talking to a lot of different people.
Yeah, I feel like that helped me in high school. It kind of sucked at the same time because I needed to, like, I knew I had confidence going into high school, but like I knew I needed it 100% because like I know Chris went to a high school where like a couple of the people that we knew, because we had the same class from 4th grade all the way up to 8th grade. Yeah, and Chris was a year earlier than me. With that in 3rd grade, you still had some people.
There's only 4 people in that class, though.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that's still like something. Yeah. But like with me, I kind of just like when it came to high school, I just kind of got thrown into the fire, and like, no, I didn't know anybody. No one knew me. No one knew my name.
Like a fresh new slate.
Yeah, it was literally like a fresh start, and like, I had a confidence going in, and then by the time a couple weeks went in, I already had a couple groups of friends that I was talking to, a couple people that I was like really cool with, and like Chris said, like we always had this small group in our like classes. Like our whole class knew each other. Yeah. But like we all kind of still had little groups.
We don't really know a lot of people back in middle school, at least.
Yeah, in middle school we didn't really know anybody outside. Like it was me, Chris, a few others, and like, because Chris and I have known each other for a while, but like we didn't really like linger too far out from the group that we had. It was always pretty consistent on who we hung out with during lunch. Like maybe talk to after school while we're waiting for something, or like between classes or anything like that. But like, I don't know. It's important to have confidence, especially in situations like that, because confidence doesn't apply to just relationships or social skills or just presentations. Like self-confidence kind of applies in every single aspect of life.
There's a lot of it's not one specific.
Yeah. And I feel like you can have different confidence for different things. So like, let's say you're really good at school. You're really good at that. You can have confidence in school, but you can also not have any confidence when it comes to socializing or when it comes to anything along those lines. So it really depends on the person you are. I feel like I'm confident. I'm confident to where I know what I can do, and I know what I'm gonna be. So like I just keep on pushing with that mentality, and I don't let kind of anything bother me, like I said before. Like that's just how I was raised.
For me, like my self-confidence goes with socializing wise. I'm a great socializer. Like I'm not afraid to like talk to random people. I'm gonna talk to them, and like if it doesn't work out, it's cool. Find new people and then just talk to them. And then like same thing with you is nothing's gonna really affect me. Like people talking shit, it wouldn't affect me emotionally or mentally or anything like that. And then the only thing that I lack in them is gonna be relationship self-confidence. That is something I do lack in. That's about it. After that, my self-confidence is pretty high in everything. So
that's what you'd say, that's like an area that you want to improve on?
Probably.
I don't know what an area that I want to improve on is. I feel like I'm pretty confident in like a lot of aspects of life, because like I said, I know what I can do and I kind of stick to what I can do. I guess kind of like maybe building confidence on being like outside of like my comfort zone, maybe like with different things. I can't give you an exact example, but like kind of.
Would you go skydiving?
No, no,
Not that
that's not confidence. That's stupidity. That's not confidence. Skydiving is for stupid.
Why do you
That's
say
for stupid people.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't like heights. I
Yeah.
don't like heights, so that would not be happening. But no, I feel like I'm confident when it comes to relationships. I'm confident when it comes to socializing. I'm confident in presentations.
You're pretty, like you're confident in all the spectrums.
I don't know. I feel like the
Most.
confidence, like yeah, like all those social things. I feel like really, like it nurtured and kind of became better like in high school, and then senior year, like I was kind of like down senior year. Like I wasn't really like in like the happiest like during senior year, but the thing was that I was like vice president and president of like our communication club, and like I felt like that really nurtured my confidence even more because I had so many people in that club that had my back no matter what, and they always knew that I was gonna like do the right thing, and like I was like working hard to make sure that the club was like doing as best as it could be, or being the best that it could be, and like everything like that, handling some events, getting some things going, charity, things like that. I was the one who was giving presentations to a lot of like faculty and stuff about the club and like getting people involved. Like I remember like when I had given a presentation because I had to skip classes in high school for it to go because I was the only one who could make it. So I went and talked to all the faculty, and I remember my advisor, who's a comp professor, she had told me, she was like, you did such a great job. Like you like beat out, she's like, you didn't plan, you didn't do anything. Like I had no time to plan because I had classes like right before. But like she was like, you were like confident in the way you presented, you did everything. She's like I understand why they chose you as president. And like that put a confidence in me because like everyone in that club had told me, they're like, you're so good at socializing and things like that. I'm like, thank you. I try to be, and especially having to be a leader, and like I had like confidence to lead that group because like I loved every single person in that group. They were all so incredible, they were all so great, but like you have to have a confidence in that sense. Like that was one thing that I wanted to improve on, was I think my confidence in leading, because people have told me I'm a good leader, but I never believed it like in myself for it. But I think being vice president and president of the communication club and like just having everyone have your back, like that really raises your confidence.
I have like a similar situation with like leadership wise and being confident. And it was in high school where at second semester, the last semester, we film a movie. And so we were filming this movie the whole entire semester, and then the main actor left, and basically it's the point where the director doesn't know what we should do because we can't finish the movie anymore. And I was like, you know what we could do is just scrap the movie and just start over, and we have 2 weeks to finish it instead of a whole semester.
Dang.
And I was like, the thing is, we had to invoke the people's confidence and make sure they're not downed.
Yeah.
And so that's when I kind of took leadership in a sense. Like we both worked together though, and that's how. But I kind of like led the charge and trying to communicate with people. Like, hey, what your job is now is just get all your costumes. Let's get like this, and like set everything out, planning all the weeks out. And so I kind of was thrown like the I guess how you said it in the high school.
Thrown in the fire.
Thrown in the fire.
Just
and see how you walk out.
Left for dead, kind of.
See how you walk out, and I was like. And sometimes those situations actually help though. That's when like it really like you have to do something.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you learn the most.
Yeah, when you're put under pressure, you're able to kind of build up yourself a little more. All right, so our last question is going to lead into the next episode. So, when are you trying too hard to be in a relationship? When are you doing too much? Because some people out here be doing a little too much to try to get themselves into a relationship or something like that. When are you doing too much? When is someone doing too much?
Is when you are giving a lot more than you're ever gonna receive.
That's such a good. Oh my god, that's so perfect.
I think that's what.
When you're giving more than you're ever gonna receive. I feel like I agree with that. There's so many people who like are trying to like do like the world for others and like trying to be in a relationship and like doing so much for them, but they don't ever think about what they're receiving in return, like in affection, in like how much like effort they're putting into like the relationship or something like that. It's kind of sad to watch and see outside. From like inside, most of the time people don't see it.
Yeah, you kind of blinded.
But on the outside looking in,
it's like, yeah, this man's desperate as hell.
Yeah, this dude's desperate. This girl's desperate. They're trying their hardest, but
it's
like
so sad.
Yeah, but then the other person doesn't care, and that's honestly when you're trying to do too much. All right, so that's gonna wrap up this episode of the podcast, the self-confidence episode. Our next episode, like we said, will be going live next Monday at 5. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're on SoundCloud, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure all that links are in the description. I'm your host, Marco.
I'm your co-host, Chris.
And we're about to head out. Peace.